All right, y'all. So fall is slowly approaching, which means winter is on its way also. So I'm getting ready to try to complete as much of these garden beds as I can, because once winter arrives and before the first frost arrives, I'm gonna cover all of my garden beds with one sheet of large plastic. I have a lot of tropical plants. As you can see here, I have this large black turmeric, or it's also called blue turmeric or blue ginger. So I have a very large plant right here. I also have plenty of banana plants in this little area. And then also I have these tropical spinach. Spinach is growing. So this is longevity spinach. And beneath that, we can see I also have some sisu spinach or Brazilian spinach. So these are tropical plants. They are very cold sensitive. You definitely want to protect it during the winter. And then I also have various other turmerics other than that blue turmeric. I also have green turmeric, which is right there. These guys here. I have white turmeric right there. And I also have an orange turmeric in that little garden bed there. So I'm gonna try to plant as much of all of these garden beds that I have and get those covered. So I just wanted to take y'all along with me on this transplant that I'm about to do. I actually have a variety called Greater Galangal. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. We're gonna harvest it in a little bit and then transplant it, but this is how the leaves look. You can see a little lizard crawling on there. But this is how the leaves look for the Greater Galangal. We'll see how the rhizome looks in a little bit. You can see I have a lot of dead leaves out here, or plants and whatnot. I've been pruning, and I let it sun dry for a couple of days, and I'm gonna use this at the bottom of the grow bag to help hold moisture. So, and that'll help to smother the weeds, the possible weeds that may be under the grow bag. So see y'all in a little bit. About to get some of this dirt poured in and get started. And here we are. We have the bag full of dirt. I put at least 120 pounds worth of soil in this 15-gallon bag. And I used a bunch of sun-dried weeds as a filler. So now we can move on to collecting some of this galangal. So I'm using that bed, basically, that garden bed, as a sanctuary for my rhizomes. So basically, like all my turmeric, gingers, and whatnot, I'm going to grow them in that garden bed over there. Just trying to figure out how I want to tackle this duty, because I'm not sure if there's wasp nests under these bananas, and it doesn't seem to be. So we're gonna dive right in. If we look here, we can see some madura setting fruit. So I'm gonna be careful of that also. But here's the Greater Galangal garden bed. And also, while I'm at it, I'm gonna harvest this new Mampukuji carrot. Oh, that's that's good for compost. I was wondering why I still had Mampukujis in here. Yeah, those are bad carrots. Yeah, these are woody now. It didn't go to seed for some reason. Just gonna pull that out. Make it easier to see what we got going on with the galangal, the Greater Galangal. There's two variations of galangal. There's greater and lesser. You can see two madura fruit sets in here. Looking excellent. Getting these carrot stems out of here to give me a better idea of what I'm working with, and to ensure that I'm not going to damage any of the plants. I want them in as good of a condition as possible, or in as best condition as possible, so I can transplant them without without losing anything. I don't want them to, I doubt they would dry out since these are tropical plants, but I just want them to grow as healthily as possible. Set root quite easily. I want them to set root as easily as possible before winter time to ensure that they make it. I can feel some roots right here. So, I don't feel any rhizomes yet. Whew, so many mosquitoes. All right. Roots. See the whole bunch moving. I'm hoping that it's larger than it was when I first planted it. All right. Okay, everything's coming up. All right. All right, there we go. So we have the bunch right here. Don't see much of a rhizome here. Just get a look in the sunlight. All right, so are you growing any rhizomes this year? If so, what varieties? So this is the greater Galangal. I first purchased this variety from So Exotic, so this is my first time growing it. You can see some smaller ones here. So I guess this is how the rhizomes look when they're growing. So it doesn't exactly look like how turmeric or ginger looks. So many gnats out here, y'all. Trying to swat them away. But I'm thinking I want to take a piece off to cook with. Trying to see if there's any super small ones. Man, where these insects coming from? So, yeah, I'm going to go grab a shirt and come right back, y'all. Okay, much better. All right. So here we are. We can see a very beautiful root system on this greater Galangal. So it's growing really well. I was expecting it to have a different rhizome than what it looks like, but now that I do recall, it does look like this on the So Exotic website. It's just they get a little bit larger. They weren't in that grow bag too long, so there was no problem there. It was just I was expecting something that looked similar to ginger and turmeric. Now they are related to ginger and turmeric, but not so. They don't look so much like ginger and turmeric though. So I'm thinking I want to break a piece off to give it a try. Trying to find a good section. I don't want to damage the rhizome too much. But if we were to remove all these roots, basically they're all connected with this type of bulb here. So you can see plenty of them here and here. Just that root mass is covering the majority of it. So just gonna take one of these looser ones from right here. And that's a little bit hard to break off. So that might be easier to cut off than break off. There we go. It has a minty type of smell to it. All right, so it's mild. When you first break it, you can smell that pungent aroma. Gonna get this guy planted before it starts drying out. Okay. So you can see some of the weeds there. I put a layer in the middle to hold water. And I also put a layer at the bottom. All right. So I'm just gonna cover that up. It's gonna root itself real well. I'm gonna water it. And I'm gonna water it a little bit later, but this is basically the Galangal transplant. Very simple, actually. The roots weren't too deep. They were more along the surface, growing horizontally, but they weren't actually growing vertically downward. So very easy to pull it up. You just want to be mindful of the roots and to dig a little bit outward from the actual the actual mass of the rhizomes. You want to dig a little bit outward from that. But other than that, it's looking very well. It's looking good. It's gonna be easy to protect. Some of the stems are leaning here and there, but that doesn't really matter at all. It was already doing that in the other garden bed, so I guess that's just its growth habit. It doesn't grow straight upward. It actually leans a little bit. So that's that, y'all. This little guy here, I guess I'm gonna look up how to use this in recipes. Of course, the rhizome can get much larger than this, and you'll have much more material to use, but I just wanted to try it out in a cooking tomorrow. I'm gonna maybe make a dish of some white lima beans and see how it does in there. Had a minty scent to it when I snapped it, and then the scent dissipated real fast. So I believe it's gonna have a strong but mild flavor, if that makes any sense. I'm wondering if I can also replant this stem. If I cut around them insects. If I cut around this area right here and try to leave that root on there, I wonder if it'll still take. It's a good experiment to see, but that's Greater Galangal transplant. All I have left is to bring over. I need to bring the ginger from my farm. I have ginger growing in ground. I need to pull from out of the ground and transplant into this garden bed. I also am waiting for winter to come, and then next season during the spring, I'm going to transplant this blue turmeric into a higher grow bag. So this one is planted much lower than this right here. Like I said, when spring comes, I don't want to disturb the blue turmeric right now. I want it to do its thing and get as large as possible before I try to transplant it. But essentially, this blue turmeric, there should be a mass of rhizomes under there. I tell you that. This plant is so huge. I can't imagine that there's not a lot of blue turmeric under that soil. So, and then I also need to transplant this pineapple into a higher grow bag, and then that will complete the ring of grow bags. So I literally only have 2 more grow bags left to complete this whole ring here. I have sweet potatoes growing there, all type of stuff basically. I'm not gonna name everything. Goji berry right there. This is all type of tropical plants in here. Goji berry isn't tropical, but all type of other tropical plants that I do want to protect. So here's the Lacatan banana that I planted really recently, and it's doing excellently. So we're gonna be sure to protect this investment and see how things go in the near future. See y'all in the next one.